Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. We are from Group 2 and today we will present about our group project. In this project, we will discuss about gasoline contaminated soil. First, I will do some introduction for our project. In this figure depicts a snapshot of the country's oil and gas reserve located mainly offshore in the South China Sea, near the coast of Kelantan, Terengganu, Sarawak, and Sabah. Our main location in this project is in Terengganu. As you can see in this slide, a suitable site remediation for gasoline contaminated soil is needed is because to reduce the pollution on soil, groundwater, as well as the atmosphere. Next, we will look on the problem statement. In this picture, you can see the major sources of pollutant produced by petroleum industry. These petroleum pollutants have a side effects that very toxic to environment, soil, and human health. Next, we will see the literature review of this study. Site remediation techniques for gasoline contaminated soil can be classified into three. First, physical, second, chemical, third, bioremediation. This will show you one of the physical methods by thermal technologies. Thermal technologies can be divided into two, which are ex situ and in situ thermal. These two types of technologies can achieve more than 99% removal efficiency of gasoline contaminated soil. Next is chemical method by using nanotechnology. Various of nanomaterials that have been used by past research, and the highest one that have been remediation efficiency is biogenic iron oxide, which is by 95%. Lastly, for bioremediation method, this method will use microorganisms to do the remediation. Even though some studies have demonstrated that a single strain can degrade petroleum contaminated soil, there are still issues with a single bioremediation technique, including lengthy repair times, unstable microbial activity, and the short annihilation of free microorganisms. Consequently, combined microbial methods enhance degradation impact and practical application, which we will see in the next slide. The three primary categories of microbial combination techniques are microorganism physical, microorganism chemistry, and microorganism biology. Combining microbes with physical or chemical technologies can increase the efficiency of microbial degradation of petroleum, which the petroleum removal rate increase over the 18%. Then, in this table, we will discuss 4 things: facts, ideas, learning outcomes, and actions. For the first fact is large-scale oil spill on the surface of a body of water. First, make sure that when you create equipment or choose replacement parts, they fit well and are made of the right material to withstand the environment in which they will be used. During fitting, surface should be kept clean and parts should be put together using the right sealants and torquing method. Operating the equipment and keeping pressure within the standard range will make the part last longer and cut down on leaks both inside and outside the machine. Lastly, set up a strong checking program to get information from the field about leaks and build-outs. This kind of program can be helpful way to figure out where you should put your effort. There are 3 learning outcomes that we have got from the first fact. First is the oil and the same material must be chosen simultaneously. Second is use recyclable and environmentally safe oils. Third is this method can be applied to various types of oil, including crude and heavy in different soil profiles and under different climatic conditions. To make sure this method followed by petroleum industry is we can use the amount of oil used and the cost of leaks to make a key performance indicator, which is KPI.
Assalamualaikum. For the second fact, the oil spill on the soil makes the soil contaminated. For the ideas, there are various ways to remedy the contaminated soil. However, first thing first, chemical oxidation is the main focus of chemical decontamination techniques, which involve injecting reactive chemical oxidants into the soil to quickly and completely destroy contaminants. However, the in situ chemical oxidation (ISSO) is a flexible method, especially for removing pollutants from hard-to-reach places like deep soils or soils under structure. Next, for the learning outcomes, this method can be applied to various types of soil, including crude and heavy in different soil profiles and under different climatic conditions. But however, some scientists found another way to make the oil soil fertile again. Due to the health risks that soil contamination poses to humans, animals, and plants, soil remediation is essential in many cases. For the actions, the immobilizing agents are added to the soil to stabilize it by lowering the leachability and bioavailability of pollutants due to the stronger resistance and lower permeability. This approach may also be used to increase the geotechnical competency of the ground. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is BADRUL AMIN bin FAIZI. My metric number is EF190146, and I will talk about the problem, which is illegal dumping of petroleum product. Okay, the ideas to prevent this problem from happen, we can provide waste disposal facilities, which is we can, in compliance with environmental laws, have suitable containment methods, offer safe and authorized methods of disposing of petroleum waste. The second idea is we can regular the maintenance of transportation and storage. We can put in place appropriate security measures such as access controls, fencing, or surveillance cameras. The third idea is the waste management. We can promote safe disposal, recycling, and reuse of petroleum waste, and also adhering to environmental rules. Learning outcomes that we can obtain from the ideas are forensic analysis and regular inspection of the infrastructure. Forensic analysis, we can analyze samples from contaminated sites and also yield the important information on the origin of the petroleum. Regular inspection of infrastructure include the conduct routine checks and also to find any potential opening or flaws of the ideas. The last part is the actions to be taken to solve the problem. First one is injecting microorganism into the soil. Which is to remove the contaminant from the contaminated soil. And the second one is we can do an environmental impact assessment, which is we can comprehend the long-term repercussions of unlawful dumping and also determine the best mitigation and restoration strategies. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So now I will explain about the petroleum leakage problem. So one of the factors that cause the petroleum leakage is because of the inadequate petroleum industry regulations, enforcement or monitoring. So the regulatory complexity. The petroleum sector is tremendously complex, including the numerous processes, technologies, and possible environmental and safety issues. So the leak can be caused by the insufficient of requirements for the regular inspection and maintenance of the petroleum infrastructure. So to prevent this from become overwhelmed, the EPA standards define the requirements for the tank design, installation, release, detection, leak prevention, and corrective action. So by following the law, the petroleum leakage problem can be reduced. So for the learning outcomes, assess the frequency, extent, and quality of inspections that are carried out to evaluate petroleum industry activities. So this must be considered that the inspection include all the essential factors, for example, the drilling operation, infrastructure maintenance, and safety protocols. Besides, enhancing compliance enforcement procedure to ensure the rigorous adherence to regulation for non-compliance, more regular audits. So lastly, for the actions, the penalty should be reviewed and updated. So by doing this, they might be made appropriate for the seriousness of the offences and operate as a strong deterrence. Besides, to spread the awareness and deter for the non-compliance, it made the sanction imposed on violators known to the public. So that's all.
Hi, my name is Melvern HENG with matrix number F1I0103, and I will continue the filler table for the fifth fact. The fifth fact is petroleum hazardous effect can cause problem to human and animals worldwide. For the ideas, petroleum contains harmful chemicals including benzene, toluene, and xylene, which are known to be toxic. Animals living in or around petroleum contaminated areas can experience adverse effect. The last idea is petroleum pollution can persist in the environment for extended periods, affecting ecosystem and human settlements for years or even decades. Next is learning outcome. The first is to identify the potential health hazard associated with petroleum exposure, such as respiratory problem, skin irritation, and increased risk of cancer. Next is to examine specific incidents of petroleum pollution and evaluate their environmental human impacts. And last one is to develop an understanding of the need for responsible consumption and disposal of petroleum products. Action to be taken is to support conservation efforts, protecting and preserving natural habitats, ecosystem and wildlife through initiatives such as establishing protected areas, conservation programs, and wildlife rehabilitation centers help mitigate the impact of petroleum-related activities on biodiversity. And that is all for filler table. I would like to continue the presentation with methodology. For our project, we have selected bioventilation as a method of bioremediation to solve this petroleum contaminated soil. Bioventilation is an effective and inexpensive in situ bioremediation technology for polluted soil. This figure below shows a low power electric heater that is heated by a low rate flow of fresh air, and food is suspended above the ground and controlled by temperature sensors to measure the temperature of contaminated soil. To encourage the growth of local bacteria and increase the effectiveness of decomposing inorganic pollutants, the right temperature nutrient solution and oxygen are heated and put into the polluted soil. To improve airflow between the soil and atmosphere, fresh air with enough oxygen is forcibly discharged into unsaturated soil. Next is for the procedure. We'll start with air injection. The blower can inject air or remove soil vapors from a series of vent wells. Next is vapor extraction. When vapors are extracted, a negative pressure is created, causing atmospheric air to be sucked into the subsurface. Extraction, on the other hand, reduces vapor intrusion into neighboring structures, but injecting air might worsen it due to increased subsurface pressure and the establishment of preferential routes. Next is system operation. Therefore, during the first months of operating a system designed for soil gas extraction, vapor treatment utilizing thermal or catalytic oxidization or granular activated carbon may be required at many sites. Changes in subsurface pressure and concentration of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and total petroleum hydrocarbons are monitored using soil gas monitoring sites. Moving on to respiratory tests. In situ respiratory tests are often carried out while the full-scale therapy is being applied. Next is baseline test. To measure changes in degradation rates over time, a baseline test is carried out before or at the beginning of therapy. Subsequent tests might be carried out every 3 to 6 months. System turn-off. The test is initiated by turning off the bioventing system after air has been provided to the vadose zone for at least 24 hours. For recording process, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and petroleum hydrocarbon concentrations are measured over a period of 1 to 5 days. The test is typically over when the oxygen level drops below 5%. And the last one is calculation. The rate of oxygen or carbon dioxide consumption can be used to estimate the rate of biodegradation. However, bioventilation have limitation. One of them is if the water table is relatively close to the ground surface, bioventing is ineffective. Next, bioventing efficiency is hampered by high soil moisture or low permeability soils. Low temperatures may hinder the remediation process. And lastly, without a catabolite, many chlorinated compounds might not break down properly in an aerobic setting. And that is all for methodology. Thank you.
For the conclusion, a potential and sustainable method of treating soil is provided by the bioventilation technique, which combines solvent extraction with bioaugmentation. It offers a practical and environmentally friendly method for cleaning up polluted soils by utilizing biological deterioration to get rid of the contaminants. To successfully complete bioventilation projects, proper site assessment, monitoring, and optimization are essential. Bioventilation techniques can be applied to a wide range of contaminant soil, including petroleum hydrocarbons, chlorinated solvents, and other organic pollutants.